Hey, this is Jeremy with the Practical IT channel. Today's video is covering a use case that was submitted by one of the viewers, and we are going to delve into that and configure some OpenMediaVault. Let's get started. All right, what you see in front of you is a fresh OpenMediaVault install. And I'm just going to jump over to File Systems and show you what we've got to work with. I've got a disk that is labeled My Store, formatted with Btrfs, which again, that doesn't really matter. It is mounted. We do not have anything as far as file sharing running at the moment, just the basic SSH service. So we're going to go ahead and configure this. But first, let's take a look at the viewer request. Viewer writes, I have a configuration to do in OpenMediaVault, but I'm in trouble. Let me explain. I need to make a shared folder where all users must have read-only permission, while other users, chosen by me, must be able to have read, write, and execute permissions with access passwords. I emphasize that the shared folder is the same for everyone, but must have different permissions according to the users. Okay, so this really is not a difficult scenario to set up. The big thing is it's a single shared folder. You're going to have users by default having read-only access. So keep in mind, when you add a user to the system, you're already going to be setting a password. Also, when you add a user, they are going to be a member of a group called users. So therefore, if you assign that group called users to have read-only access to that particular shared folder, then you've met the first part of the criteria. There will be a second group added, and users will be added to this, and that group will be granted read-write access. And we can do this by implementing an access control list. So let's go ahead and get started on this. So we're going to jump to shared folders first. We're going to add a shared folder. I'm not feeling very creative, so we're just going to call it folder 1. We only have one device to select from on this particular install of OpenMediaVault, so we're going to select that. Permissions. This is where we want to make a change. We want administrator to have read-write, users to have read-only, and others to have no access. So that's the option that we want to select. We're going to save that, and we will apply it. All right, before we go any further, let's come over here to groups, and we're going to create a group, and we're going to call it special access, just so that we're being very clear and very explicit about what we're doing. So we created the group. There are no members of the group yet because we haven't added users yet. So let's go ahead to users. Add a user. We'll add a few users actually. Bill, and assign a password. Save. So we've got 4 users. We'll apply that. Say yes. Okay. So we're going to leave Bill and Bob just in the group called users. Joe and Tim, we're going to add to our group. Edit. Members. Joe and Tim. Save. Privileges. Keep in mind right here it says these settings are used by the services to configure the user access rights, have no effect on file system permissions. Okay, so we're going to leave that alone. we'll apply this. Go to Settings, Enable, Save, Apply. Yes. So let's go back to Shared Folders. We're going to come to our shared folder and go to ACL. And right over here, we can go to the Special Access group, which is Read-Write Permissions, and Extra Options group. And we'll find our group called Special Access, and we'll give that Read, Write, Execute. Apply. Double check that one more time. Special access, read, write, execute. Okay, now I'm going to bring up users one more time. Bill and Bob should only have access to read from that shared folder. And the easiest way to test this, and this is across operating systems, it should work the same whether you're running Linux, Windows, or Mac OS. If they only have read only, they should not even be able to create a folder in that shared drive. So let's go ahead and test this. We're going to take a look at this from the Linux side first. As soon as I'm fully logged in here. So we're going to go to the File Manager, Other Locations, and we want to connect to the OpenMediaVault January 21st demo. Folder 1. It's going to ask for credentials. So we're going to start with Bill. And we're going to say forget password immediately. And this will allow us to demonstrate the whole shebang. Connect. Okay, so inside folder 1, there is a folder called test. We're going to say new folder, test 2, and we are denied access. Okay, so we're going to eject that disk. And we'll come back in here and we will connect again. Folder 1, registered user, and we're going to log in with Joe this time. And again, we'll forget password immediately. Connect. We can see test 1. We can go into test 1. We can come back here and we can say new folder, test 2, create. Okay, so we've got 2 folders now that only the 2 users would be able to access. I'm going to delete this folder, delete the other folder as well. So we'll log out, we'll test with the other 2 users, and we should see the same exact behavior. The other user that should not be able to access is Bob. Forget password immediately. Connect. All right. New folder. Test Bob. Bob's denied. One last time, we'll come in, we will connect, and this time our user is going to be Tim. connect. We can get into the folder. And we can create a new folder. So again, if we come in with one of the other users, Bill, forget password immediately, connect. He can see this folder. He can open the folder. He cannot create anything inside the folder. He's denied again. Okay, chances are you're running Windows. So we will come in from a Windows user perspective. And again, network. So we'll try with Bill. Bill can see the folder, get into the folder, get into the subsequent folders. Cannot create a folder. Denied. Okay, and so we will do this with a user that should have access. Okay, OpenMediaVault demo. Tim should have access. Tim can see folder 1 and go into folder 1 and go into the test Tim folder. Also, Tim can create a new folder, test Tim 2. And that is really the basis of what you have to do to allow users. So again, the big trick is access control lists. So you go to shared folders, click on the folder, access control list, and once again, the special access group is going to be read write. We also came down here to the bottom under extra options and gave the special access group read write execute. Now everybody else is in the users group, which is read only. And that will meet the requirements that you set out in your comment. All users must have read-only permission. That's your default. Users read only. While other users chosen by me must be able to have read, write, and execute permissions with access passwords. Again, you've got to create passwords for all of your users. That's not an issue. The read, write, execute, your special access group, read, write, and down here at the bottom, extra options, read, write, execute. And again, you can add additional groups over here and just supply whatever privileges you need to those groups. And you can at any time add additional members to this special access group. And again, you can call this anything you want. I called it special access just to be very explicit about what we were trying to accomplish here. And so that's going to wrap up this practical IT video. I hope this answers your question and gives you the needed information to accomplish your goal. Again, access control lists are your friend. And just for the sake of argument, if you come over here to the OpenMediaVault website, in the documentation, you search for ACL, it's going to talk to you about access control management and access rights management. And so you'll want to review this if you need to make other changes and just for a more in-depth understanding of the OpenMediaVault system. You didn't specifically say what OS you're using as far as the desktop users you're talking about. I'm going to assume Windows, but OpenMediaVault is based on Linux, and so you've got to have some understanding of Linux permissions in order to make this whole system work for you the way it's supposed to. So their documentation is something that you should be referring to on a regular basis when you have questions. I'm happy to help, but if all else fails, the documentation, it's coming right from the horse's mouth, from the developers and the people supporting the developers. So something to keep in mind. And that is going to wrap this up. Thank you for watching. If you haven't done so already, please click like, subscribe, and click the bell icon for notifications. Thank you everybody for all of your support. We're over the 2,000 subscriber hump at this point, and we're on to working towards the next goal. So, on that note, thank you for watching. Stay safe out there. Happy computing and have a great day. I'll see you in the next video.